I know. Oh my goodness. What is going on? You are watching and, of course, listening to Tags Live, aka Talk About Gay Sex, the live edition, where we're here every Wednesday night on the Crowdcast platform. This is episode 679. I am your host, Stevie V, alongside partner in crime, Cody Maurice Dolgett. How the hell you doing, Cody?
Hello, darling. I'm doing wonderful, especially since it's Top Appreciation Day. Did you see that?
I did not see that. Is it top? There's a day for everything.
There's a day for everything. So it's going to be tomorrow when you guys are hearing this. It'll be Tuesday, the 3rd. But still, if you want to appreciate your poppy, come and hit me up, okay? Thank you.
And just so I heard you right, top appreciation as opposed to bottom.
Day. Exactly. I guess bottom appreciation day should be coming up too. But
you know what's really good about that is that there's so much emphasis always on, oh, look out for the bottoms and this and that. And I agree with that. But we don't always look out for our tops as well. So I think that's really good that you found this holiday.
Holy day.
I love it. Yes. Holy day. We are live. I see James. Hola to you. I see some other familiar faces that we have seen. Doug, Diego, James, hello. And as you trickle in, we want to hear from you. That's why we do this live show is that, and by the way, if you're listening to this when this officially drops tomorrow, Thursday, as it always does, consider joining us on Wednesday night at 6 p.m. Pacific or 9 p.m. Eastern time, as we really love to hear from you. And it's fun. You get to weigh in on some of these hot topics. And by the way, we really encourage you to rate and review us. I'm going to be saying that a lot because it really does help us in the algorithms. It helps us get seen a little bit more. We've been going strong for so many years, 8 years to be specific. But I remind you to rate and review us and give us a good review and tell us why you like us. It will just help us do well, and we appreciate it so much. Okay, so much to get into. This was Pride Month is over. The Diddy trial is also wrapped, Cody, and we won't spend too much time on it, but the Diddy trial, we just had to talk about it. And why do we have to talk about it is basically is he is a pop culture icon that has been under investigation in jail along the likes of people like Austin Wolf. He's in the same jail as well as Luigi Mangione as well. Right. So finally, the jury came to a conclusion. Here's what they said as it wrapped. Count 1 of racketeering conspiracy, not guilty. That was the biggie one, Cody, because that was the one that RICO cases, things that are organized crime, things that are like sex trafficking, organized drug trafficking, they did not find enough counts to find him guilty of that. That would have put him away for at least a minimum of 20 years, if not life imprisonment. And that was a really big win for the prosecution. On count 2 of sex trafficking by force, fraud, or coercion pertaining to Cassie Ventura, he was also found not guilty. On count 3, transportation to engage in prostitution. That just means that you engaged in some sort of prostitution and engaged in it. Guilty. Count 4.
He admitted to that. So
yeah. Count 4, sex trafficking by force, fraud, or coercion, not guilty. And lastly, count 5, transportation to engage in prostitution, guilty. And that goes across state lines that when you bring, whether you go to a different state or you bring somebody into your state that ultimately, and the funny thing about the whole court case, if you listen to a lot of it, they never use the words prostitution. At least the people that actually testified in the case never considered themselves prostitutes, although they were in this case considered that. each of the two counts, which is a really big win for him and not for the Southern District of New York. They really didn't make their case. However you feel about it, is that each of the two counts that I listed are 10 years each. However, they probably won't end up giving him any of that. And today, he was denied bail and he will remain in prison at least until they come up with sentencing, which probably won't be until September, along with Austin Wolf, which is also in September. And that's really interesting too, because
put some buddies up in there, aren't they?
Yeah, I mean, they really thought that based on these two counts that are really, he has a bunch of other civil cases that could go against him down the road. But given that the jury didn't find him guilty of some of these really atrocious counts, how do you feel about how it ultimately went down? He's still going to have to, he didn't get bail. He's going to have to stay in jail. But what do you think about our system that ultimately is going to just basically say he didn't really do all those things, and it's kind of just a civil case of domestic violence?
So I might get some pushback for this, because I do feel like they were going to have a hard time making all those other charges stick. It's just really, I feel like if it was a domestic violence case, I think they would have had a better chance. I do feel like the racketeering and all of the organized crime things, even though he did some pretty heinous things, and there's still conjecture about him doing a bunch of other things that do resemble organized crime, I still think that it's very difficult for them to prove. And you're right, they didn't do a good job of it. So I hope that they give him a lengthy sentence. It does give me hope that the judge denied him bail. He was very livid about that. From what I have seen, reports that I have seen, I think he even asked to speak to the judge. So I do think that this is, I hope they give him something that is substantial, because there's conjecture out there that he will only do an additional couple months in jail because he served so much time already.
I think because I've been following this case a little bit, in that if Cassie had actually nobody ever went to the police to actually put these cases up. In other words, a civil case where you can actually prove a lot more. It was a federal case. When it's a federal case, you have to prove so much more. I do think that, and it has to be a reasonable doubt. There was text messages between Cassie and juror, according to Jane, she went by, that really showed maybe they were somewhat involved in this. It was too muddied and foggy to actually make the claim. In a federal case, as I've learned, you have to really make your claim. It has to be a total reasonable doubt for the jury to come to a prosecution and say, yes, we prosecute you based on this. You are guilty. They didn't have enough evidence. Sadly, nobody ever, Cassie or anybody else, went to a police department in a particular state, Miami, Los Angeles, New York, places that Diddy actually lived in, to actually make a claim for a civil case. That it's easier to get a conviction when it's a civil case in a particular city. None of that ever happened. He does have smaller cases. For 2 seconds? Yeah.
Because didn't he have a civil case with Cassie and she got paid from that?
Yes, that is true, and that's what they tried to use against her, and he still has some civil cases down the road that he will have to address. This particular case that we've been following for weeks and weeks and weeks has been a federal case, and I'm just going by this particular federal case on what you have to actually prove in something like this, and he didn't. Take, for example, what we've been talking about all year long, Austin Wolf, which never went to trial, and he had a plea deal. totally different things. I've learned so much based on these two cases over the last year, more than I've wanted to know about, but it's just crazy. Austin Wolf, on the other hand, never went to case. He is also with the Southern District of New York, which is hard ass. He admitted to doing what he did. He will have his time in court and get his sentencing also probably in September when Diddy has his as well. They are in the same jail cell, not the same cell, but the same cell block. And it's as well as Luigi Mangione. And it's just, yeah, it is just the party I don't want to be a part of. And
I hear that,
yeah. But it's crazy. You really gotta, it's sad in some ways because it doesn't say a lot for, you could feel however you want to feel. I feel like he's an awful person in so many ways and he abused his power like so many people. Bill Cosby, we could go on and on with the people. R. Kelly,
Harvey Weinstein.
On and on that have abused the power. But when it comes to a federal case, you have to have a reasonable doubt. And I don't know if we're ever going to change the system on how we view women and how we view an abuse of power, but it is real. I'm just glad that he didn't get bail today and then he still has to stay in jail before his sentencing, because I just think like, yeah.
No, I hear you. And yeah, I just hope some kind of justice is served, that the sentence takes all factors into account. But yeah, I also feel like we're on CNN right now. So that was my little fantasy right there.
Okay. Let us know how you weigh in on this. We had to talk about it because, by the way, he had male prostitutes at a point in time. And the way it stands that I've understood is all he's being charged with now is hiring prostitutions, male and female.
And taking them across state lines.
I'm not going to say that I have or not at a certain point in time.
Don't go to jail, honey. Don't get caught up.
I'm just saying if you think that he's still guilty of something, it's something that is really somewhat minor now. He is in jail now. We'll see. But yeah, we will continue to
hold on 1 second.
Yeah.
Do we have a second to talk about how him hiring these male prostitutes has anything to do with how he feels a little bit emasculated? Because like the rumor out there is he's not very big. So maybe that's one way we can bring it into our realm. So I don't know. What do you think about that? Has that ever have you ever felt like that? Have you ever been intimidated by somebody else's penis size? I know you're dragging to say it.
No, I have not. I've welcomed the penis size.
Oh, look at you.
Yeah, and I am not very small myself.
Oh, you dragging this. When we go to the nude beach, there's it's like a three-legged race out there. There's one mark in the sand from your penis down there. So.
Yeah, so no, not intimidated by that at all. And yeah, we'll leave it at that.
Okay, well, I have been intimidated before because
really, you're big yourself.
Oh, thank you, darling. I know. And I'm a grower, not a shower. But this bottom that I was having sex with, he was bigger than me, and that really just got in my head a bunch. And I actually didn't finish with him because I let that affect me. It doesn't affect me now, but maybe like 10 years ago, I had sex with him, and it really got me, gal, and I never talked to him since. Also, his breath kind of stunk, so I was like, I'm not missing out.
Oh, well, there's that. Yeah. Yeah, no. We could say a lot on we that. Can say a lot. And let's continue, and maybe a little later in the show, but okay. All right. We've got so much to get into, but feel free to bring it up as the show goes on, because I do have some other commentary on that. I just feel like I want to move. We're gonna fall into the rabbit hole. Because as you know, the Supreme Court has cleared the way for increased age verification for porn sites. So we've talked about this all year long, that sites like Pornhub and so on and so forth have really implemented age verification as it's been a whole thing throughout the year. Well, now it's been heard by the Supreme Court, and they've ruled in a 6-3 last Friday that age verification, porn ID laws are an appropriate way to regulate content for minors without infringing on the First Amendment rights of adults. We've heard about this all year, Cody. This isn't new, but now it's been heard by the Supreme Court. And essentially, what does this really mean? Basically, it means that it will continue to be more implemented. Critics of age verification laws worry how state governments will determine what kind of content qualifies harmful to minors, especially as right-wing extremists increasingly characterize any type of LGBTQ plus media as inappropriate for children. And I can tell you, when I've gone to certain places around the country, when it's been implemented, I can't get on to one of the sites we use. We'll use it at the end of this episode. Thirst Trap, Straight Up Gay Porn will not be able to be accessed. And they are simply a site that talks about what's going on in the porn industry. Yes, you can see dick on that site, but still, they will be blocked in many cities. And it's up to each individual site on how they deal with it. But I mean, I don't know. What do you think about this, that it was heard by Justin Clarence Thomas? That was definitely, and they all point to the fact that it's the children that we need to be protecting.
They ain't been listening to Whitney Houston, honey. They don't know about the children and the future. Teach them well and let them lead the way. They don't know nothing about that.
By the way, George Benson sang that first, but
oh, did he?
You know, he wrote it. And she sung it later, just FYI, and you should hear his version.
Cute.
I believe, yes.
Well, yeah, this is, as someone who's used to live in Kansas, girl, remember those days? I think
Lick
that
those heels.
Not going back, don't worry.
Yeah.
I'm someone who experienced this firsthand because when I was there, those were the first initial days of them implementing this. So yeah. I know firsthand, from a firsthand experience, what it's like to go on and have to put your face up there and have them do the age verification. I don't have any wrinkles, so honey, how do they know how old I am? Okay. I just think at the end of the day, this is just insane because I had such high hopes for the Supreme Court, especially considering I was just praising them for having a moral compass when it comes to other things that they are voting on. But I feel like this is just to placate the right. I feel like this is something that they're doing in order to make sure that their base is still happy so they can still be in charge. But it's a violation of the First Amendment, and it will do more harm than good in the end of the day, because as we've reported on this show before, when these kids they put their mind to something, they're going to be able to do it. There's a way to circumvent all of these things. And they figured out how to make sure that they can access these things. So what are they going to do then when they see how much porn is still going to be out there? And there's not even verification that goes on within the government. It's something that has to go out to a third party. And weren't they just screaming about how China has all our information? So what now, boo? What now?
It's really upsetting and in so many levels, because as we all know, porn and sex is going to be not going away anytime soon. I just got back from Africa, and the Wild Kingdom is fully engaging in sex, and I just think that, like you said in our meeting earlier, focus on the things that really matter. We're about to do a story in a second about gun control.
I was holding on to it.
Yeah, it's just sex is here. Our co-host is a prime example of somebody that grew up in an era as a millennial that was exposed to more porn digitally than we were. And he's fine, by the way. Yeah. And it's not about that. And so I just think we're focused on the wrong things, but we have to keep in mind the Supreme Court right now is exactly what Donald Trump wanted. He put in successfully more conservative judges, and that is why we're seeing what we're seeing, is that they're always going to rule this way. And it's such a hypocrisy if you look at it in any ways. I mean, just look at priests and everybody else taking advantage of sex. Has always been something that is here to stay. That's why we do this show. And to actually block and say that sex is not good and to demonize it is the reason why we get into trouble. And so the more we're going to probably hear more stories, sadly, about things like this. Doug, watching us live, says, I'm sure all you need is a VPN to get around it. And right. Yes, you're right. Yeah.
And you know, Clarence Thomas and Anthony, I forget how to say his first name, Scalia, they got a whole library of porn that they are not sharing. Like,
and I'm sure there's some boys on there too.
Oh my God! Allegedly, we don't want to get in trouble. Allegedly, that's the case.
Yeah,
you come with Supreme Court like that? No.
I mean, they're coming for us. I'm coming for them. I don't care. At this point, that
is Steve Rodriguez's.
Yeah, it is, and I stand by it. But let's move on, because sadly, Pride produced a lot of things, so many good things we were talking about on episode 678. But there was a shooting that happened by Stonewall here in New York City that a lot of people were worried about. What did this mean? And a lot of people thought two young girls, right? 16 and 17 were shot. They were actually shot. The 16-year-old girl who was shot in the head near Stonewall on Saturday night during basically Pride now have a different storyline. And we were going to do this story the other day, but basically she was involved in the shooting. Somehow she was struck by a bullet, but it was also... The story goes that she was actually involved in it. Am I right on that?
She was the shooter.
She was the shooter.
Yeah, she attempted to shoot a boy in the head, and somehow she missed, but she was really close from what I understand. And it hit someone that was celebrating Pride, another young lady, but it hit her in the leg. And then she got shot in the head.
Yeah, it was a boy that was struck by the bullet, I think.
No, it was a girl, I think.
A girl, okay, yeah. This story is continuing to develop, but I'm glad we didn't do it the other day, because actually we would have gotten it wrong, and it's developing, but it doesn't sound like there was anything related to homophobia. It was more, I use the word gang related, Cody?
I wouldn't go that far. I don't know.
It's developing. Yeah. Also developing right now is a bar that I've come to know and love, Lambda Lounge here in Harlem. Wednesday morning, here a gunfire erupted outside of Lambda Lounge. It's this really good Black-owned, all-inclusive bar in Harlem that I love. The only Black-owned LGBTQ plus bar in the area, leaving 2 men injured. And according to NYPD, the shooting took place just before 3 a.m. at the bar located at Adam Clayton Powell Jr. Boulevard. A 51-year-old security guard and a 39-year-old man were both shot in the leg and rushed to Harlem Hospital by EMS. Thankfully, both victims are expected to recover. But the suspect, believed to be in his 20s or 30s, was last seen wearing a mask, white tank top, and blue jeans. And police are asking anybody that have any information. But when you hear these incidences, what are your thoughts?
Well, I agree with you that, like you said in the previous story, that this is something that we should be focusing on. We shouldn't be focusing on porn. I think it's absolutely ridiculous that the Supreme Court is addressing having a war on sex, but not having a war on guns and what's actually killing people out there. This young lady that got shot in the head, I think she was 16. That's ridiculous for her to have a gun. It's absolutely insane. I need for people to get these people in charge. We need to start protesting, because they need to get the priority straight, because there should not be a war on sex. I'm sorry. At the end of the day. Also, our safe spaces should be safe. I feel like these two shootings so close together is telling me that they're. I hope that they're not related to homophobia. I honestly don't think that either one of them are. I think that maybe the second one might be something of a lover's quarrel or something like that. But I do think that our safe spaces need to be safe. We need to be more vigilant about making sure that they are, and that there's no weapons involved in any of these places.
Yeah, so, absolutely.
Yeah.
Great points being just that I think, yeah. Let's switch gears here to something we were talking about on episode 678 just the other day. You can listen to it. Guys, we were talking about how to approach an open travel excursion with your partner. Like, say you want to go on a vacation and you want to open up the relationship when you travel. Remember that conversation, Cody?
Oh, for sure.
Right.
We talked about it with Teddy. It was interesting to see.
It's really good. We get into it. Listen to episode 678 because we're really getting into it. But now there's a follow-up story, totally unrelated, but I couldn't help but talk about it today. Guys shared their rules to ensure open relationships work. So I really like this because there's a study that report that couples in monogamous and those in non-monogamous relationships report equal levels of stability and happiness. I really like that.
Love
and
that.
This suggests that it's about finding something that works for you. And I like that because I've approached my relationship in my 50s and we have our own thing going on. We are not necessarily, I mean, we're so committed to each other, but we have had fun with others. And I have to say, it's been working out. We don't do it all the time. I could talk a little bit more about it after I read some of these, but basically, we just don't have any hard and fast rules. Like, we're not totally closed and all of those things. And I also think it relates to if you get into a relationship later on in life, like I have with my partner, we're not so committed to heteronormative rules that just say you have to be monogamous. And I really like that concept that queer people have a different set of rules and laws, and we get to make it up as we see fit. I think so many people fall into a heteronormative rules, which, by the way, doesn't seem to ever work out. Half the time, if you look at the rates of divorce, it's not really working. So I love that. Yeah, it's not. I mean, I'm just being really honest. The rate of divorce
it's high. It's like 54%. Though.
And so I think
that's like nobody succeeding.
I just think that the way when you're older in life, it's just more realistic, and we have our own. Here's some of the things, though, that how to approach. It was recently asked on a Reddit thread. Somebody said, I'm considering an open relationship. What are some of the rules that you have that help make it work? Here's some of the things that people said. Honesty. A man who's been in a triad for the past 25 years laid out his rules. Total transparency and open communication. I'm going out to have sex with Bob on Thursday at 8 p.m. at his house. Any other relationship can take priority. And if people feel like that's happening, we should communicate. He said a strong sense of compersion helps. What does compersion mean? Compersion is feeling happiness and joy at someone else feeling joy. Never heard of that word. Okay. Basically, honesty is one of the rules. Never break a date. This was somebody that said something that if you're going to get together with somebody, with your partner, don't break that date. Don't flake out is kind of the thing. No dates, just sex. But if you're unsure, meet the guy in public first. I kind of like that one. Be open is supplemental fun, said somebody else. Absolutely never break any plans to have sex with someone else. We are very mindful, intentional about making and keeping each other as the primary priority. Power of veto. I'd say controlling jealousy is the most important thing, said another. Talk a lot about it before doing it and go through possible scenarios. Then make a list with rules. Try to exclude anything that would make either of you jealous. And I like that one as well. Do any of these resonate with you that you would talk about if you were to share, if you were to go into an open relationship?
Okay, so don't think that'll ever happen, but I do think that if some of these rules can even apply to a monogamous relationship, because prioritizing your partner, if never break a date, that's a really great one. That applies to a monogamous relationship as well. I think a lot of them are about prioritizing your partner. So I think that as far as that's concerned, you can apply that to your friends and with your partner. So I think that this is a really great list. I think that because they are addressing the jealousy issue, I think that is something that happens in all relationships, no matter the scope of it. And I think that that is a really big part. It's been a really big part for me as far as like maintaining my relationships and making sure that they're growing instead of stagnating. So I think jealousy is a really big part of it. So I love this list. I think that people should keep all of them in mind, no matter what kind of relationship they're in. So yeah, I think it's really great.
And I go back to the fact that, at least for me, when I approached a relationship, I mean, in general, we are mostly monogamous all the time. We enjoy sex with each other. But I think that we're real about things, and we're gay men. And we don't ignore that fact, and we've had to talk and work through certain issues when we've had fun, mostly together. But like when I was in Africa for a long period of time, I'm like, if you want to go out and have a little bit of fun, do it, because I'm leaving you for this period of time. And it was so mature, and we talked about it, and it was not a big deal. We love each other so much and continue to work on a relationship. And I also feel at 54 that I am not subscribing to a heteronormative relationship that is monogamous as I get married this year that doesn't really conform to my lifestyle as a 54-year-old man anymore. It's just ridiculous to even like think that way. That I have been, it is.
Ridiculous?
Ridiculous.
Fabulous.
For many people, I think it's just, I've lived a life as a single open man, and I really do mean, I chose my words exactly how I meant to say them. Okay. And it's working for us, and we love each other so much, and we have a great sex life. And I just think it's backwards at times, for me personally, to think that, we have to conform to this monogamous, like only us for the rest of our life. I feel it's a little bit backwards at times, and I don't know. I'm happy to be with a partner that is also on my wavelength as well. Very progressive. And again, we don't explore this all the time. This is not, because I feel like when you say that, everybody's like, ooh, you guys are like, and it's like, we're not. And I don't have the time to convince you what our relationship really looks like. But if you want to think that we're like out with everybody else every time, that's on everybody else to think that. We're not. We know who we are. We check in with each other. We love each other. And we have an amazing sex life. And that's just up for us to, and I think that's part of what's beautiful about being queer, is that we get to define our own. I didn't sign up for this marriage to be in a heteronormative marriage that half the time doesn't work out.
Okay, so let's unpack a little bit of that, because you keep saying like heteronormative things, but I think that open relationships are definitely something that heterosexual
do not ever talk about. I've never heard of any.
You know, the Master Joshua and his wife, they're open.
But they're consider themselves queer.
I think there's plenty of people out there.
He said he's queer.
Okay. All right.
No, he has. I know him very well.
No, I agree with that, but I think that there are heterosexual couples out there. I'm going to find one and bring them on the show.
Bring them on the show.
Cool.
I think you're going to have to hand pick those. But in general, we all know most... like heterosexual people do not subscribe to any of the things that we're talking about, and we've placed a lot of that, I feel, on our community.
So
and I think that that's just backwards, and I don't want to live that way.
Well, good for you. I think that us as gay people, we have shown society a lot of times that this could work actually for people. So I think that, queer people are actually teaching and helping society evolve out there. So I hear what you're saying. Yeah,
absolutely. Moving on to sluttiness, which is kind of what we were talking about.
No,
if you think open,
monogamy, I'm sorry. Oh my God,
open relationships is
ethical sluttiness.
Ethical monogamy, which is a term that non-monogamy is the whole thing. There is a really I've been wanting to talk about this for a while because Them Online Magazine did a whole thing on the 7 sluttiest, their words, not mine, 7 sluttiest gay vacation destinations for 2025 from Athens to Berlin. And is it wrong that I've been to all of them, Cody?
No,
of course I have. I know.
I want to go to all of them.
I've been to all of them and I love it. And I think that shush over there. Diego's shouting out over there. They say wherever you are in the world, they have a few ideas where you could go cruising in a park, lie with your bits exposed in the sun in some officially designated naturist beach, or find a few designer dark rooms to hook up with that are very satisfying. Coming in at number 1 is one of my favorite places of all time, Berlin. Cody, have you been to Berlin?
Never been. I want to go so bad.
Oh my God.
It's amazing. If we're to be on the sluttiest vacation places, that even makes me want to go even more. Okay.
From Schöneberg on the old side, where you can find tons of gay bars, but also a back room that, by the way, when you go, Lincoln and I have talked about this, when you go to the dark room in one of these, it's not like so seedy. You go in, you have a drink, you chill, and when you're ready, you go to the dark room. But Tiergarten, which is the central park of Berlin, of the city, which separates the new and the old world, has naked sunbathing, and it's amazing. Ooh. There's after hours. Snacks party is amazing. I went to the iconic Berghain, which is I think I left at 2 p.m. It was amazing. I loved it.
The night before.
So much fun. Coming in at number 2, Montreal, Canada. Okay, come on. You can totally be slutty there.
I love Montreal.
St. Catherine Street is brilliant. I love it. There's all kinds of, what do you call them?
Bathhouses?
Bathhouses, yeah.
I had my first bathhouse experience in Montreal.
Love Montreal. Coming in, Rio de Janeiro, which I celebrated my 40th birthday, and I've been there 3 times. Ooh. Oh my gosh, so much fun. Just go to the gay beach and meet people. It is just, I love Rio. I mean, come on, it's Rio. It's
I want to go.
Favorite spaces. I love Rio. I miss it. I love Sao Paulo as well. I just love it. Athens, Greece, I was surprised because I was going to say Mykonos, but Athens, Greece. I've been to Athens. I loved it, but there's all kinds of queer spaces happening in Athens. And what I remember is they created these bar spaces that were smaller, but I mean, come on, the Greek men. I mean, do we need to say
I was almost married to a Greek man, so we were domestic partners. Yeah.
Okay.
So I went to Athens with him. It was amazing.
Puerto Vallarta is on the list. I said this the other day. We knew that it was going to be on the list. I mean, there's so much fun to be had there. Palm Springs is on the list. There's all kinds of clothing optional spaces to round out our entire 7 sluttiest vacations that you can go on. What do you think of this list?
I love it. I can't wait to go to some of these places. I've always wanted to go to Rio and Berlin, and those are my next two big trips. So I can't wait. Yeah, and I think all the places that I have been, like Athens and Puerto Vallarta, I've had a significantly I feel like I have a slutty time anywhere I go. Honestly,
you can definitely do that anywhere.
Whether I'm with somebody or not, I just go. And Paris, yeah, I had
sex in the street there. If they did 8, I'm sure Paris would have been next. Spain should have had a few more spots on there.
Sitges, Spain. Oh my god! Just the sluttiest place that I've ever been in my life, and it was fantastic.
We are live, and Doug says Rio. Ooh, Brazilian boys. Yes, please. I mean, Avadkashi is what I had at the beach, which is the vodka and pineapple. Avadkashi. That's all I ordered, and I love it. I love it. I love. If you know anything about me, I love travel, and it's one of my favorite things.
Oh yeah, so. It's amazing. There's nothing like it. You need it for your soul, basically.
Absolutely. It's a good time to remind us to head over to our Patreon tags community where you can get behind the scenes content exclusive that you can grab a free account. And when you do, you get stuff that you will not see on our social media. Right now, I'm posting stuff. Diego and I are posting all what we're eating right now. And we're giving really tips and tricks on summer eating and how to cook for healthy but tasty. And he was laughing at me yesterday because I was like, what are you doing? I'm like, I'm filming for our Patreon community. So you can go there and grab a free account, but you can also grab a tier. When you do, you are supporting the show you've known to come and love, and we really appreciate it. And you get things like commercial free podcasting, and you also get things like upcoming bonus episodes. And next week we have a brand new bonus episode coming out exclusive that you will not hear on our normal Tags podcast. You can go to patreon.com/Tags podcast. Okay, moving on. We love to. Is it time to give some advice? Or
let's
actually, no. I think we're a little bit ahead of ourselves, but there was a cute article. Is your favorite gay media actually for straight people? Queer TikTokers are weighing in. I really like this article. I think you read it too. It really had to do with, is some of the queer films and TV shows for us, or is it for a straight audience? And I really liked what a lot of people had to say. Creator Connor Diddle ran through some of pre-marriage equality greatest hits at record speed. And he said, well, the 90s Aussie classics like Priscilla, Queen of the Desert is for the gays. And I agree with him, right?
Yeah, totally.
He also said, though, opposite, the star-studded drag epic Tu Wong Fu is sadly not. I don't agree.
I don't agree.
Okay, I agree with you. It had Patrick Swayze in it, and I heard a little bit of the filming of that. While we love, who is the other two people in it?
Wesley Snipes and John Leguizamo.
John Leguizamo says something that he did not like. They were, Wesley and John were having a field day on that.
You can tell.
Patrick was not having it with them, and I don't know.
He was just in character the whole time. That's all.
Yeah, I just think no. I agree with it.
A control freak.
Brokeback Mountain, they wrote, is, in his opinion, this person, neither gay or straight, but the Hollywood Foreign Press Association. I would agree. It was one of those films that was for the foreign press, but was so impactful. I think I only watched it once. Did you ever watch it?
Yeah. I don't know.
Were you like bawling and crying like I was?
I'm bawling and cry every single time. And I very much internalize, I don't know how to quit you, I think. I don't know.
Okay, yeah. I mean, Call Me By Your Name also had a lot of straight women love it, and that's great. By the way, this isn't really a testament on whether it's good or bad that who this is for. It's just all of us strangers is strictly for the gays, according to this person, as is Joel Kim Booster's Fire Island.
Definitely.
Remember that?
They made that for us by us.
That was definitely for us. Somebody else went on to go on to TV shows. Like, what are some of the TV shows that are for gays or not? First up, fellow Queer as Folk was definitely for us, wouldn't you say?
Yeah. Oh, no, with as much gay sex as that was in there, of course it was for us.
Yeah. Queer Eye for the straight guy, not necessarily for us, for a straight crowd, and I would agree with that. Noah's Ark, definitely for the gays.
Yes.
100%. For us. Yeah, absolutely. And was there another one that was for us? I think those were some of the main ones. Definitely. Oh, Will and Grace. How do you weigh in on Will and Grace?
It sounds like the Straits for me, honey. The Straits for 2000, Alex.
I think Will and Grace was the network TV show that ultimately was for both of us.
You think so? I don't know.
Well, I do. I was for it in the beginning. I mean, hello, it had Cher, Madonna. Who else guest starred on it? Did Britney? I mean, on and on and on. It had gay icons, Just Jack, but it was on a network TV. So
I think that Will was too clean cut and straight laced for it to be us.
But that's some of us. Woo. The other thing I would say is here's something that they didn't talk about in this that is Mid-Century, which is produced by the same people that put on Will and Grace.
Oh,
is Mid-Century for our community, or is it for a more open,
the gayer crowd? Well, I think it's that one is for both, because if you remember in the first TikToker, he said that the Birdcage was for both because it had characters that could gravitate towards. I love the Birdcage. You don't love the Birdcage?
I like it, but yeah.
And I feel like this has a very equivalent feeling to it. Like it has some things for the straights and it has some things for the gay. I mean, Nathan Lane. You can't have Nathan Lane in anything and it not be gay. It's super gay.
Yeah, I mean, you have Harvey Keitel in anything and it's pretty gay. I mean, I'm not mad at any of these things. I mean, I think we need both. We need a more mainstream type of content to touch all of us so that it brings us all together. And then we sometimes just need Drag Race that is just like our own little thing, right? You know, although
Drag Race is being co-opted, girl.
Yeah. I mean, I don't really care, to be honest. I just think, I think Doug says watching us live. I know I saw it. Which one did he say?
Love
Simon. Yeah. Okay, what was that?
You never seen Love Simon? Oh my God, I love it. It's so good. But it is for the straights. It is for them. It is.
Yeah, not my thing.
Yeah. But yeah, it's about a gay guy that's pining for, I think, a straight guy at first. And then he ignores the gay guy and then falls in love. I don't know. It's something like that.
I love it. All right. Well, we love to give advice on the show, and tonight is no different than any other night. You can always ask us for advice. We'll give our handles at the end of the show, or go to tagspodcast.com and email us, whether it's sex or relationship advice. We are here for you. This one was deleted on Reddit, but I remember reading it a little bit, and here's what they wrote. The headline only: I'm sad I never got to experience love at 55-year-olds. So, Cody, we talked about this in our meeting, and basically what this person was saying was they turned 55 and they've never really experienced love, and they really feel like they don't have a chance now at love. And did they miss the boat? Did they miss the opportunity? And I say no. Because as I said in our meeting, I met my love of my life at 53, And I also said, I told one of my best friends in San Francisco years ago when he asked me, like, well, do you want to meet the love of your life? And I said, nope, not until my 50s. And apparently I said that. I said, and I,
You're psychic. Oh my God.
yeah, because I thought, no, I'm not ready. I will not, I have too much to do. I'm like, and he said, you said that, no, I don't need to meet my love of my life. I'm not ready for that. Not until my 50s. And lo and behold, I put it in the universe and met him at 53. So yes, you can meet the love of your life. And what I would say to that is that you offer so much later on in life. Things like, I used to be so much more jealous. Things like that whole conversation we were having a couple topics ago about like jealousy and monogamy and all that stuff. It's just like, so like not important to me. I mean, it's important to me, but what's important to me now is just love and experiencing that. And I'm less about all. I would have been much more of a jealous and neurotic person in my 20s, 30s, and 40s. I'm a late bloomer. I met the love of my life in my 50s, and you can do it too. What do you say to this?
Oh, that gives me hope because, I mean, I've been in love before, so I know what it feels like. And I feel like this person is asking if they've never had love before, they've never been in love before, is it too late? And I unabashedly say, no, you can find the greatest love of your life. You can find your first love at any age. So keep looking. Somebody is out there for you at the end of the day. So continue looking. I'm like, what?
Malibu watching us live says money is important too. It is important, but I think maybe you bring your own money later on in life. So you don't have to worry about it as much later on in life, which is kind of a good thing. Hopefully you're
there it is.
Yeah, right.
He gagged both of us because we both saw it and we were like, wait, we're talking about love. Where did this money come from? But you know what? It's an important part of the equation. I'm not even going to lie about that.
Let's stay on age because somebody else wrote something that I couldn't believe this, but I kind of believe it. This was the title of the Reddit, Terrified of My 40s. I am turning 40 in just a few months, and I must say I'm terrified of my 40s. For context, ever since I came out to myself at 16, men in their 30s have always been most attractive to me, and I couldn't wait to reach my 30s and have the same life. When my 30s finally came as expected, I was really living my best life, went to a lot of kink-oriented festivals, traveled vacations in amazing places, went to multiple events all around the globe, hooked up with amazing people. Clearly my best years, at least for a few years until the world went to shit. He's talking about the pandemic.
Yeah.
Things have not been the same for me since normality came back. So I feel like I missed out on my last good gay years. Now, he writes, I'm 39, a couple of months away from my 40s. Everyone around me is pressuring me to have a big party for it. And I did that, honey. But I just don't want to celebrate. That new decade scares me. I know it's stupid, but that means turning back to my best decade while realizing I wanted to have more of it. I'm afraid of my body won't be able to follow my mind anymore if I were to continue living how I live now. The worst thing is I have people around me telling me, what? You're turning 40? No way. You don't look that old. I guess they mean it in a positive. So what should I expect from the upcoming decade? And let's just start with you because you are in your 40s. I'll get to me.
How dare you? Nobody knows that, Steve. You're not supposed to be telling my age on here. I am 40 and a half, and I'll be 41 on July 22nd. Send me presents.
Okay.
Yeah. This person does not need to worry about anything like this. I feel like 40 is such a milestone, and I feel like for all the wrong reasons. I feel like 40 now is not what 40 used to be. Look at J-Lo now versus the Golden Girls back in the day.
Okay.
Right? Come on now. I am in my 40s. We're not going to say how old. And I think that I am just as vibrant and
if not more, right?
Excuse me?
If not more.
You know what? Because I know who I am and I know what I want. So you're
That's
right.
The beauty.
That is the beauty.
But the beauty of aging anyway is 30 is no longer what it used to be. 40 is no longer. 50 is the new 30.
Mama,
I feel like more just on top of the world than ever before. I mean, I own my age. I just think confidence comes with aging.
I hear that. And if this person is worried about their body not being, if you take care of your body, then your body will take care of you. So how about you invest in your body and your mindset and growing and making sure that you are capable of evolving and into your 40s, because it's an amazing time. And I think a lot of people will attest to that. It's one of the best times of your life. I'm having a great time. Thank you very much.
Well, it's time for our final segment. I put it in our chat. It is produced by Straight Up Gay Porn. And who took the best photo of the week by some of these hot, sexy adult performers? It's our job to vividly describe on this audio podcast when this drops. Who do you vote for and why? I'm going to start off. I vote for Alex Koff, KOF.
Oh my God, he's mine.
Well, we can both tell. I mean, he has got a kind of a gooning. He's lying back on a bed, and in the background, it looks like the backyard looks amazing, but it's just this bed with crumpled up sheets and pillows. But he has his right arm up, holding up his head, which has a beautiful bicep, and he has his tongue to the side and messy hair, a little bit of a gooning face. His legs are spread out and he's uncut. His hole is exposed, and it almost looks like he could push his dick into his hole and fuck himself.
He's got a great dick.
That's why I vote for that, and I am voting for it right now. Who do you pick and why?
He's so sexy. Alex Koff is one of my porn crushes right now, and I saw him getting on a train. I've seen him in the club a couple times. Yeah, he lives here. He lives in New York City.
Okay.
So we need to go out and we need to go see him and tell him how much we love him, and can I please fuck him? So yeah, I vote for him too.
It's a really good. Doug watching us live says Alfonso and Angel Elias get his pick. I love that. And by the way, James Hart watching us live says, I'm 39 and don't feel scared. I just want to keep living. Yeah, exactly. So really good points. Keep voting on that. What an amazing show. You can always follow my co-host, Cody. He has a brand new single out called I Don't Want to Fight. Wherever you get your music, Spotify, Apple Music, YouTube, download it. It will keep the music coming.
The party rocking.
Yeah. I Don't Want to Fight by Cody Maurice, but also follow him on Instagram and Blue Sky at the same handle at Mr. Maurice. Follow me on the gram. I am _Steve V. Go to my Blue Sky or my X account at Tags Podcast. I mentioned go to our Patreon page where you can support us or get extra behind the scenes content. Go to patreon.com/Tags Podcast. Don't forget to rate and review us wherever you listen to us. It really helps us on the algorithm get noticed more. And in the meantime, continue having hot gay sex. Thanks, live virtual audience. We really appreciate it.